Welcome back to the show, and let's get it underway. And we start from Parliament because it's been exactly 1 week since the majority in Parliament gave certain ultimatum, requested an emergency sitting, but Speaker Abambaben is yet to reconvene the House. Sources within the majority are alleging that the Speaker will be breaching the Constitution and the standing orders of the House if it fails to issue a recall order by the close of day today. Now, we'll look at the standing orders of the House shortly, but first, let me bring back the Majority Leader Alexander Afenyomarkin addressing a news conference on May 3rd, demanding an emergency parliamentary sitting.
Our intended recall. Colleagues in the media may be aware of the fact that on the 20th of March, Mr. Speaker adjourned the House sine die. At the time the House was adjourned sine die, there were 3 items of urgent importance to government that had been advertised to be taken. They were advertised on the order paper of the day. And these were the items. 1, the adoption of the 34th report of the Appointment Committee on His Excellency the President's nomination for appointment as ministers, regional ministers, and deputy ministers. 2, motion on additional financing agreement between Government of Ghana and the IDA for an amount of $150 million to finance the ongoing Greater Accra Resilient and Integrated Development Project, also known as the GARID. 3, request for tax exemption for selected beneficiaries under the 1D1F program. On the first item, you all know that Mr. President did some reshuffle and came out with some nominations. As you are well aware, the appointment committee sat on all of the nominees, interviewed them, engaged them, asked the relevant questions, and the report, as was tabled on the floor, was by consensus. So all we left to do is to take it through the motion of voting. On the issue of the GARID, that is the IDA 150 million, the committee had done its work. In fact, we had taken the motion, and the Works and Housing Subcommittee, Committee of Parliament, had expressed certain views. And Mr. Speaker advised that the matter be taken back to committee and the leadership of the Works and Housing Committee be asked to join to express their views so that such views get incorporated. In fact, this was done, and all that is left is for this item to be taken so that government can access this concessional facility to show up our forex. We all know the situation with our city, and these are things that, if we are unable to speedily deal with, would affect our economy.
So this is the Majority Leader in Parliament, Alexander Afenyomarkin, last week, Friday, May 3, and made certain demands. And we do understand that they got the required numbers to sign onto a petition that will trigger the necessary provisions in the Constitution, of course, the standing orders of Parliament, for the Speaker to undertake emergency recall of the House to consider what they consider to be urgent business of government. Now, Parliamentary Affairs Correspondent Kwaku Asante joins me in studio with more on what we are learning. So, Kwaku, walk us through the provision that, emboldens them to make this demand.
Well, Alton, if you look at Article 1123 of the 1992 Constitution, it says, notwithstanding any other provision of this article, 15% of members of Parliament may request a meeting of Parliament, and the Speaker shall, within 7 days after the receipt of the request, summon Parliament. That is Article 1123 of the Constitution. This has been repeated in Order 53 of the Standing Orders of Parliament. It says, despite any other provision, 15% of members of Parliament may request a meeting of Parliament, and the Speaker shall, within 7 days after the receipt of the request, summon Parliament. Parliament shall convene within 7 days after the issuance
within 7 days
of the notice of the summons. That is the instructions of the standing orders of the House, as well as Article 112. If you look at the letter written from the Majority Leader's office, the memo sent to the Speaker, it was written on the 2nd of May, but actually arrived at the desk of the Speaker of Parliament at 11:43 a.m. on the 3rd of May. That is a Friday, the morning before Alexander Afenyo-Markin addressed journalists on why they were recalling Parliament. Between then and now, it's technically a week because Friday to Friday, but there have been weekends.
Right.
The 2 weekends.
And the weekend doesn't count.
It doesn't count. But if you start counting on a Friday itself, that the letter was sent up until today, you have 6 days. The contention of the majority leadership is that if you purposively interpret within 7 days, it says that whatever action the Speaker is required to do by virtue of Article 1123 and 53 of the Standing Orders must happen within 7 days, not on the 7th day or after.
This is their interpretation.
That is their interpretation. That is their understanding of the wording of the Constitution and the Standing Orders, that all this must happen within 7 days. And so, by close of day today, if the Speaker of Parliament does not act and do what is required of him under the Standing Orders of the House and the Constitution, he will be breaching the Constitution itself and then the Standing Orders of the House. And so they are giving the Speaker of Parliament some more grace that by close of day today, they expect that he would have issued the notice of summons, recalling members of Parliament to come and sit. The question some others have also asked is, even if you issue the summons today and it's 3:12, it doesn't seem likely the Speaker will do that.
Yeah.
If he does that on Monday, are MPs expected to come on the same Monday to come and sit to necessarily fall within that 7-day bracket? That would necessarily mean that things are going to go past the 7 days. And that is why they say that the Speaker of Parliament is not acting, as it were, with good faith, or at least has also not engaged them since their letters went to his table. We understand the Speaker of Parliament is not currently in the country. He has not been around since Parliament dissolved. He had been in country a little bit, and then he has traveled for some official duties and a private visit. As we speak, he's currently not there, and I've run checks at the office of the Speaker. They say the Speaker is not there. They've also not commenced any work at all
to get the MPs back in the House.
Exactly, regarding commencing MPs. And you've been in Parliament before. You know, it's a bureaucratic process.
Right.
Recalling MPs, making sure that the needed resources get to MPs so that they can travel from wherever they may be to come. It's not something that is done in a day or two. It takes some quite process. And that's why the Constitution envisages that and says that all this must be done within 7 days. And so the contention here is that given that 6 days is expiring, and by Monday, the 7th day itself would have also kickstarted and will be expiring, the Speaker of Parliament is going beyond the within 7 days that is mandated by Order 53 and Article 123 of the Constitution, and is breaching his oath of office.
And there could be implications.
Big implications. If you breach the Constitution in such a flagrant manner, you are committing a high crime. And that is what the Constitution says, that if you breach the Constitution in this state. So there is that criminal aspect. There's also the consequence of being removed from office. So if the president, for instance, breach the Constitution, presidents could move a motion for impeachment and get him out.
The same way for the Speaker.
The same way for the Speaker. Only that, if you look in terms of how it works, the numbers game is a bit. And that is why some persons within the majority are of the opinion that if the Speaker breaches the Constitution, is established to be so, they don't even want to use the process in Parliament. They probably will go to the Supreme Court to get a declaration that the Speaker has breached the Constitution and in that often has breached his own oath of office that he swore in terms of upholding the Constitution. And then there will be an order that will be made by the Supreme Court that because you've done so, you're unable to keep holding on to that office. So there is that real possibility. But already the minority MPs are speaking about what they believe the Speaker hasn't done anything. Obviously, this may become a political footballing matter of a sort,
right,
with each side holding on to very entrenched positions. And so the Speaker of Parliament, the ball is in his court now, given what we are hearing from the majority side, who are demanding that the Speaker of Parliament recall the House. Our understanding is that the Speaker of Parliament may not do so at all. And that from some conversation I've had with some members in the majority leadership who have had a conversation with the Speaker ordinarily plans to recall Parliament on the 21st of May. That is when Parliament is set to return from its ordinary recess that it went to. And so the thinking is that if you come back on the 21st, then I don't have to call an emergency meeting.
But there's a reason why.
There's a reason why
this provision is in the Constitution.
Exactly.
And it's in the Standing Orders of Parliament.
In fact.
So, disregarding what has been initiated in Parliament will open the grounds for some kind of impeachment, if you like.
Yes, and apart from the impeachment angle, then it also means impunity. People can just try and say, these are part of the Constitution I don't disagree with, or I don't like the situation, I won't respect it, I won't oblige with it. And so their concern is that this is a constitutional order. Of course, there's a reason. And so even if Parliament is set to be back from their break tomorrow, and someone triggers an emergency sitting the day before, a week prior, and there is the space, you need to recall Parliament to come and do that business, and not say that because I intend to recall Parliament from its break this week or that week, I'm unable to do so.
Let me ask a final question. I mean, you've been speaking to some members of Parliament. Is there any indication that they've been told to be on standby because they may be asked to come back to the House?
Not at all. Not at all. In fact, when it comes to the majority side, their majority leadership themselves have primed them and say that be on standby any moment from now. When the Speaker of Parliament issues the summons, we all have to get back to Parliament in our numbers to be able to get the major government business through, approval of ministers, loans, tax waivers, and other key government business that have been lagging since the House was adjourned prematurely by the Speaker at the time. But when it comes to the minorities, they say they don't have any indication at all. And it's almost as though you can just be there until the 21st when the Speaker of Parliament ordinarily will recall the House to come back from their break. So that is the state of play now, Elton.
All right, so let's get some reactions to this. And Roxanne Nelson Dafiamepo, Member of Parliament for South Dar in the Volta region, who is also a member of the Constitutional and Legal Affairs Committee of Parliament, says the Speaker has not breached any provision of the 1992 Constitution nor the standing orders of Parliament.
In the absence of the Speaker, we have the first Deputy Speaker who will act. In the absence of the first Deputy Speaker, the second Deputy Speaker will act. Is the majority leader saying that in the absence of the Speaker, nobody can act? The first Deputy Speaker is a member of Parliament on the ticket of the NPP. The second Deputy Speaker is an independent member of Parliament who is caucusing or doing business with the majority in Parliament. So what is their beef? If the Speaker is outside of the jurisdiction, can the first Deputy Speaker act? And if the first Deputy Speaker is unavailable, can the second Deputy Speaker act? They should stop this foul propaganda against the Speaker. The Speaker, I recall, issued a letter 2 weeks ago telling them that it's available, it's been available to work. They went to sleep. And then they woke up last week to claim that they issued a request for the House to be recalled. If that was sent to the office of the Speaker in his absence, I believe that the Secretariat of the Speaker, which is also made up by the second and first Deputy Speakers, can act. But the Speaker made it clear that even in his absence, the House can be successfully recalled. And I believe that they haven't even bothered to read that letter. That is why they'll go to the media and say all sorts of things. But let the record reflect that when the House is properly called upon for the Speaker to recall the House, the appropriate thing will be done. So the call that the Speaker, the threat that the Speaker is in breach of the Constitution is neither here nor there. It is hot air. It is time the majority put their house in order and do the appropriate thing.
So let me bring in private legal practitioner Kwaku Pentil as we explore this issue and count down to the close of work today. Lawyer Pentil, it's a pleasure to have you here on the post. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Right. So I'm just perusing Article 112 of the 1992 Constitution, and the provision is quite clear on under what circumstances Parliament can be recalled for an emergency sitting. And if you can just, I mean, you are familiar with this, but for the benefit of our listeners, it says that notwithstanding any other provision of this article, 15% of members of Parliament may request a meeting of Parliament, and the Speaker shall, within 7 days after the receipt of the request, serve on Parliament. Now, the request was made on Friday, 3rd May. And today, if you do the calculation minus the weekend, today is the 6th day. But the Constitution within 7 days. Is the majority right in saying that the Speaker may be breaching this provision in the 1992 Constitution?
I will say yes. And I would add that we have what we call the letter of the Constitution and also the spirit of the Constitution. The spirit means or relates or refers to the arrangement by which the letter of the Constitution has brought into being. In other words, in the case that you're talking about, I think the Constitution is very clear as they have printed. And therefore, if all the notes, or rather the written notes are given to the speaker, and if for some reason he is able to discharge the duty of that, then we respect towards whomever on him referred matter appropriate to Parliament or to whoever mission that request meeting or for the convening Parliament to explain for Parliament to make.
I think, Council, sorry, but there appears to be some issue with the line. So we'll try and reconnect again so that we can have a better, connection to you and hear you clearly on this very important matter. But again, if you just join us here on the Pulse on Joy News, the majority side last week in Parliament requested an emergency sitting of Parliament, and they did so by fulfilling Article 112, Clause 3 of the 1992 Constitution, which says that 15% of members of Parliament may request a meeting of Parliament, and the Speaker shall, within 7 days after the receipt of the request, summon Parliament. Now, if you do the calculation or the counting, today will be exactly 6 days in terms of the working days minus the weekend, and the majority argument that the Constitution says shall within 7 days. The NDC minority said that the Speaker is well within his right to do whatever he is doing. Now, there's no indication that Parliament is being recalled for an emergency sitting because MPs have not been told as of now. They're going about their normal duties whilst they enjoy their holiday. And the majority says that they need this recall to allow them approve some ministers that went through vetting but yet to be approved by Parliament so that they can do their work assigned to them by the President. And there are also some loan agreements that they need the Parliament to approve of it, and some other business that they consider urgent as of now to see those businesses through. Now, our understanding is that the Speaker had programmed the 21st of May for Parliament to return and continue with business of the House. But the majority is insisting that they require this meeting as early as possible to carry through government business. So lawyer Okupento joins us back on the line as we look at. So we're making a point about the constitutional provision and its implications.
See, I'm talking about what we call the letter as well as the spirit of the Constitution. I have no doubt whatsoever in my mind that a request has properly been made, Speaker. But then he's obliged within the constitutional order to indicate, receipt and to take steps to comply. And even if he has any reason to believe or to think that the request that's made on him is out of order, then courtesy will require that he will respond to the request that had been made on him. But if in the circumstances and the context that we find ourselves, my only impression is that even though the request has been made, it has been ignored. Then I would say that conduct is contempt of Parliament. The conduct where the Speaker of Parliament will refuse to respond in any way whatsoever to a request that has been made on him according to the terms of the Constitution itself, and fail or neglect to comment one way or the other or give a reason for his failure or refusal or neglect to abide by the demands that have been made on him, I will only say it's very unfortunate. It is very unfortunate because he cannot remain mute. The duties of his office requires that he should communicate directly and respond directly to any request that is brought to him, even if he has reason to disagree with that demand. But I find it totally strange and, in my view, very unfortunate that if what we're hearing on the air is anything to go by, then what I will conclude is that the Speaker himself is in contempt of Parliament by his deliberate refusal or neglect or failure to respond in any way to an express request that has been made on him by the Constitution itself. I mean, that is, I'm talking about a demand that has been made in accordance with the terms of the Constitution. That's my view of the matter. But the point that I was going to make was that what is being played before us fits into the narrative when you go back to the last 3 or so months, where the Speaker himself initiated a suit in the Supreme Court regarding the, what do you call it?
Passage of the anti-LGBTQ
the reaction,
bill.
more or less, that's the way I'll put it.
Right.
In reaction to the president's refusal or failure also to accept this LGBTQ bill. And before you heard me on the matter, it was my personal view that what the president did was wrong. That is to say, requesting his secretary to return the bill to Parliament on the sole basis that that matter was before the Supreme Court. So now what appears to be playing out in Ghana is a kind of power play. It's a power play that's being done. It's tit for tat and my bid for your this, and that's what is going on. And everything that's going on, in my honest view, is just unfortunate. But somehow, the next question will be, what do we do in the current situation that we find ourselves? Do we really have to issue a writ in the Supreme Court for a determination as to whether who is doing what and so forth and so on? Possibly that's the next thing. But it's my honest view that what is going on in Ghana right now between the executive and the legislature, the people who by our votes are supposed to rule and govern us in this country, I think is anything but desirable. That is my commentary on what is going on. So what is being played out to Ghanaians is power politics, power play. Not that the Constitution is unclear or not that the Constitution does not show us what to do. The Constitution shows clearly what everybody must do, but somehow it has become very convenient in the midst of the power politics that is being played in this country for everybody to decide what he wishes to do. So that's my commentary on what is going on now.
All right,
there is no debate or dispute as to the legality of the demand that is made on the Speaker. And if he refuses to do it in the manner that he does it, that is to say, just ignore it, I would just call it unfortunate. I don't know whether we really bargain for this. As Ghanaians,
yeah.
I really don't know.
Council, let me come in here. The Constitution makes reference to the Speaker. There's no mention of, the role the deputies can play in this direction. Now, we've done our own checks. There is nothing in motion to suggest that the MPs have been put on notice to be in readiness to return to the House to consider what the majority considers to be an urgent matter. So clearly, today is going to end, and there will be nothing from Parliament recalling the members to come back to the House. If the Speaker is out of the country, unless he directs the deputy speakers, is it your understanding that nothing can happen?
No, the point I'm making is that our Constitution is broad enough, our Constitution is clear enough. In fairness, it's not the presence of the Speaker in Ghana alone which is requisite or which is a requirement for the doing of business of Parliament. It's not the case. We have two deputy speakers standing, and the Constitution is able for how they can contribute of our Parliament. Let no one say or tell us that if the Speaker is physically absent from Ghana, the business of Parliament can be done. It can never be the case. Come on, that would have been short-sightedness on the whole of the people of this country and on behalf of the people who formulated and we passed this Constitution to be in. The clear provisions are there. They are there. And so the Speaker, if for some reason, for instance, is not going to be around for the next 1 year, are we suggesting that we need to, for instance, install a new Speaker before Parliament can do this? It's not true. So that's why I'm saying that even if we had a Constitution that spoke like that. I would say that that will be the letter, but the spirit of the Constitution requires that there must be business. Let me give you an illustration which may not be too pointed to the issue. You remember what happened in Ghana during the COVID time?
Right.
We had executive instruments that were issued that govern our relationship to what was going on, and people were found wanting and people were arrested and whatever. Only for the Supreme Court, after the COVID period, to declare that those executive instruments were contrary to law.
Right.
But nonetheless, the time that the executive instruments were in place, they worked. They did something. They guided and guided us in everything that we did. And that's what I talk about, the spirit of the Constitution. So assuming for the sake of our discussion that the Speaker alone is the one who can give commands or who can preside over Parliament or the particular business that we're talking about. Come on, we've gone far beyond this kind of politics for us to say that the physical presence of the Speaker will be required in Ghana for the doing of business of Parliament. I've never understood the Constitution or any provision of the Constitution to suggest that. But what is going on, you see, I want us to put in proper context. I say it is power play.
And how do we deal with this power play? How do we deal with this?
And that is my view of the matter.
I'm asking how do we deal with this power play? Because ultimately, it is the Ghanaian that suffers as the executive and legislature fight.
Of course. So anybody can go to Constitution. You see, what has happened is that now our Supreme Court is going to be loaded with just about everything. And I regret it very much that it has to be so. But even if it means that somebody has to go to the Supreme Court to seek a clear interpretation of the law in relation to the facts that are unfolding, then of course we'll be guided, and then we will know. Next time we'll know whether everything that I said, whether they are well-founded or I'm just hallucinating. And then we'll properly be guided. That's how we get
will you take up that tax? Council, will you take up that tax?
Come again?
I'm asking whether you will take up this tax.
You know why I'm laughing?
You tell me.
You know it. So this is why we say top government official refuses to comment.
Right. All right. Thank you very much. Private legal practitioner Kweku Pencil making the point that somebody must head to the Supreme Court to bring some sanity to what is happening. For him, this is clear power play between the executive and the legislature. Now, today is the 6th after the majority side made a demand on the Speaker for an emergency recall of the House so that government can put before the House some urgent business. Now, the day is almost over. There is no indication that the Speaker of Parliament is going to see to the demand of the majority side in Parliament. Because from our checks, MPs have not been told to come back to the House because a recall of this nature requires an elaborate plan. Those who are out of the country must be brought back into the country. The Parliament must pay for their airfare. Wherever an MP is, it will be the responsibility of Parliament to make the finances available to bring them to the House and then pay for the inconvenience that they will saddle them through as a result of this emergency recall. Such plan is not in motion yet, meaning that it will take days if the Speaker will respond to the majority for this to happen. But the Constitution is clear, within 7 days. And for some people, it ends today. Some people say that we may have to wait till Monday. Whatever it is, we're keeping a close eye on this matter, and we'll bring you developments as they unfold. But away from Parliament, the Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Cocoa Board, Joseph Boahinedu, has revealed the entity was forced to refund $250 million it procured from the African Development Bank for irrigation purposes in cocoa farms. According to the board, consultants recruiters who undertake the project, the Ghana Irrigation Authority, advise against indicating any attempt to use water from the polluted river sources due to illegal mining or galamsey activities. And for them, that would destroy the cocoa trees. Mr. Boahinedu told a graphic dialogue on the cocoa sector that until illegal mining is addressed, the sector will be at risk.
Change as number one, because that's a global phenomenon. You have global warming. Of course, you know, in terms of emissions, I always say that my country plays a very insignificant role. You have fossil fuels combustion mainly in the industrialized countries, so they contribute more to greenhouse gases emissions. But then, whatever is happening there in the industrial world, has effect on us. This is what is changing the atmospheric conditions. So at times when we don't expect rain, the rains come. When you want rains, the rains don't come. That's for the cocoa. And that's why I'm saying climate change is number one, because it's made planning, unpredictable.
So climate change is number one?
Number one. Number two had to do with what my good friend mentioned, that is illegal mining, Galamsey. Now, ordinary, when the rains are failing, you should have been doing irrigation to mitigate the situation. But then, almost all the rivers in the cocoa growing areas are polluted. Cocoa Board, Manu, went to the African Development Bank to secure some $600 million US. Eventually, you have to return $250 million USD. Part of that money was intended for irrigation. We commissioned the Ghana Irrigation Development Authority to do a pre-appraisal for us, assessment. And the report they brought was that almost all the rivers were contaminated. And you cannot use that murky, muddy water to do anything with cocoa. You cannot use it for spraying. And these days, farmers have to, transport water from the house in Aboboya to the farms, making farming even very expensive. Previously, the farmer gets to the nearest stream around the farm, and then he fetches the water to do the mass spraying and all that. But now, you dare not, because the leaves have process, which we call the stomata. And once you spray this muddy water onto it, the mud is going to block, this stomata. And within a short time, you find all the leaves coming down. The trees will die. You cannot also use it for irrigation, because it means that you have to be changing your filters almost every day. You have to be changing. It will be so expensive. And you can also use boreholes because they are not reliable. Elsewhere, anywhere you've gone, Ecuador, Peru, even Brazil, which is now about to rejuvenate its cocoa destined, they are depending on running water, surface running water, that's rivers, to do irrigation. Why can't we do same here? All because of Galamsey. Galamsey is not only affecting the water that the cocoa farms will need, it's also affecting even the microclimate, the ecosystem of the place. Because, cocoa doesn't like too much water, as I've indicated. So it's best on well-drained land. And therefore, the adjoining swamps, as you know, cultivate cocoa. And the swamps are a reservoir. They are themselves a reservoir of water. Nature's own wisdom has created them as huge reservoirs that contain water. And during the dry season, evaporation from these swamps actually impacts on the cocoa. Well, in the morning, when you're going to the cocoa farm, you have a lot of, dew falling on the cocoa. And the stomata absorb, and then you see the cocoa trees always evergreen, flourishing. They don't just shed their leaves, unlike maybe in the temperate areas whereby during the winter you go there, all trees are shed. No, you don't see these things on cocoa farms. But what is happening is that the first target of illegal miners will be the swamp. That's where
the swamp around the cocoa.
The swamp around the cocoa, adjoining the cocoa farm. So that's where they go and mine. And once they excavate, they create a pit, a deep pit there. One, the ecosystem has been disrupted, completely destroyed. So that macro climate is no more. Number two, the moisture, the water under the cocoa trees, will then drain. Because once you create a pit, there's a dip. So water under the cocoa trees, that the soil water moisture will drain into the pit. And then you find the cocoa trees die. And apart from that, there's the other aspect whereby sometimes they deliberately, store the effluent, the effluent of the mining. That's the waste water. They block it to create a pool, and then if the farmer is resistant to allow mining on his farm, the next time he comes, they've opened, the pool of the waste water to flood the farm. To flood the farm.
So it's a war. It sounds like a war out there.
Yes, it's a real war. And now they are even going beyond that because they've almost finished all the swamp areas. And once the swamp areas have been mined, the next target are the cocoa farms themselves. So you find, and therefore, if cocoa is not going to have a future, it's not going to play any role in Ghana's future, that's tomorrow, then it will be illegal mining. Because if it wasn't illegal mining, climate change can be mitigated through irrigation. And it rains here, and therefore you have a lot of water bodies in all cocoa growing areas. My fear is that, and I've always been expressing it, is that the discharge of salt, when you go and then what they call the chamfan, that the processing of the mine, the earth that had been excavated and then being washed, that the washing, you have a lot of salts being run into these rivers. And the muddy water that you see, the milky water you see, is all salt. And as the river is running, the salt, settle at the bottom of the river, the base of the river. And eventually or increasingly, all the river channels are getting silted.
So that's the state of our cocoa and the danger ahead of us. Now, let me bring in the coordinator of environmental advocacy group, Eco-Conscious Citizens, Awula Sewa, and she joins us via Zoom. Awula, good evening, welcome to the pulse here on Joy News. Now, you've listened to the CEO of the Ghana Cocoa Board. Now, we are beginning to count the economic loss to the state as a result of activities of illegal mining. They had to return a loan they are taking from the Africa Development Bank, $250 million to do irrigation. The advice was that it was just going to be a wasteful exercise because you simply cannot use water from the river bodies to do the irrigation. And so we've lost the money, but the danger is still there. What is your reaction to this?
See, I don't really know what to say. This is not unexpected. We have known this for a while. We have known that with the illegal mining and even the companies that have licenses who go outside the parameters of their license, they also engage in illegal mining. We have known for a while the health costs, the economic costs. We have known this, so this is nothing new. My only concern is that we seem to be like ostriches, burying our heads under the sand. I don't hear the presidential candidate saying that we're going to put a pause on mining, we're going to try and do some restoration. I rather hear comments like we're going to make miners millionaires, not teachers, not cocoa farmers, but miners. So we don't seem to have appreciated the dire situation we are in. And that's what really gets me. We've been having all these programs, we've been talking, going around in circles, but it doesn't look like we are particularly interested in the solutions to the problem. because we know the solutions, but we're just not ready for them.
So as you listen to the CEO, the words coming from the mouth of the CEO himself, and then warning us of the danger ahead, yes, fell short of telling us what exactly they are doing to protect the cocoa farms that are available, because now we've been told that we've got spaces like Brekum, Tetteh, and some other areas in the Bono region. They have actually moved from cocoa to other enterprises because, I mean, they can't keep up with the dangers that they are faced with the activities of illegal mining.
So do we really think that Ghana doesn't have the capability to have a robust fight on illegal miners? Do you think it's that we don't have the capability, or is it that the political will isn't there? As I speak right now, a petition has been signed to stop mining on the Draw River in Nzema, one of the few rivers that haven't been polluted. And they've applied for a concession, and there's an application to stop the concession from being granted. So from where I'm sitting, we don't seem to appreciate the problem. If there is the political will, we can fight illegal mining. Unless you are telling me that the illegal miners are so well equipped, they have more capabilities than even our regular army, and we can't do anything about it, I'm not convinced. So I think that the Cocoa Board executive has spoken, we have heard him, water company has spoken, the doctors have spoken about the health, the maternal deaths, the deformed babies being born. We know about our waters being poisoned, the dangers to our health. We know about the rise in kidney and liver disease. What else are we waiting for before we take this matter seriously? We need to have a pause on mining, because even the so-called legal mining is an expensive business. Even the so-called legal mining, are we really monitoring as we should? Are they not also, whether unwittingly or wittingly, poisoning our waters? I really don't get it. And I think that we can talk and talk and talk, but until the political will is there to solve the problems, we'll just be going around in circles. I haven't heard that there's going to be a public inquiry into Professor Frimpong Boateng's report. I haven't heard that the persons in high places who have been accused of being involved in illegal mining, that there have been robust investigations. No. So I think we can keep on talking, but we're not going to find any solutions. And worse will come than returning monies that we have been paid. There'll be even worse news if we don't get our act together yesterday.
Now, our foreign exchange and our cocoa is in danger. Last week, the Lands and Natural Resources Minister was on our morning show on Joy 99.7 FM. And he makes the point that some may disagree with him, but for him as minister who receive daily, weekly, and monthly briefing on the state of the fight against illegal mining, he says we haven't completely dealt with the matter, but there's been massive improvement, according to him, in the fight against illegal mining. And even the state of our water bodies, there's been an improvement. You watch this space very well. Do you agree with him when he says that there's been improvement in the fight against illegal mining, and the state of our water bodies, there's also been improvement in this quality?
Well, I'd like to see the evidence. I haven't seen. All I've seen are contaminated waters. All I've seen are more and more forest reserves being invaded by illegal miners. And I've seen that through the passage of LI 2462, which allows for mining in forest reserves, even globally significant forest reserves, more and more of our forest reserves are under siege. I haven't seen any evidence that things are getting better. I know that recently in Nzema, an assembly member had been reporting illegal mining going on. The police did nothing. He bravely, with the help of other community members, effected a citizen's arrest on Chinese and Ghanaian illegal miners, and he's receiving death threats. I'm not hearing that there's any serious protection. I've heard of other journalists who are receiving death threats because highly placed persons are involved in illegal mining, and they've actually tried to bring it to the public domain. So from where I'm sitting, and even the background pictures you are showing, I'm not seeing any evidence of improvement. I'm not seeing it. From where I'm sitting, it's becoming worse.
And my final question to you would be, government went to Parliament to pass the law to to make it stiffer, to pronounce stiffer punishment on those that engage in illegal mining locally and foreign. The minister said that they've cordoned off the 268 forest reserves in the country, yet it is still going on. What more must be done?
Well, the political will hasn't been there. For example, I mean, there were reports that, for example, Akonta mining was involved in illegal mining. I haven't seen any report that says that here are investigations, we've investigated and it wasn't true. All the images you saw were fake news. Nothing has happened, and we know he's a highly placed person. I know that with the passage of LI 2462, the government has become complicit in opening up virtually unfettered access to mining and logging regarding our forest reserves. And as I said, even globally significant biodiversity area. So, well, there might be stiffer punishment from, ordinary people who are caught, but the main people, the kingpins who are involved in illegal mining, nothing is happening to them. They are going on and you can see the images, they are going on, they are doing what they want to do, and the political will is not there. When I hear of highly placed persons being arrested for their role in illegal mining, then I'll know that the president actually put his presidency on the line. Otherwise, it's mere words, sound bites, and there's no serious fight against illegal mining. Rather, we're making it easier to destroy the Ghanaian environment. And one day, persons will be tried for ecocide, because what we are doing is going to result in deaths. Already, deaths are being caused by the open pits, but more importantly, by the water. The water we are all drinking today, how safe is it? How safe is it? The tubers we are consuming, how safe are they? So we need to realize that even if we think we are safe because we are far away from Galamsey areas, we are not. And we are all going to suffer if we all don't take collective responsibility, and we are angry enough to tell the government that enough is enough. You were going to send troops to, I don't know where, because of a coup. Think about Ghana. Think about Ghana. Fight the illegal mining, even if highly placed persons are involved. Hold them accountable. Arrest them, prosecute them, because Ghana belongs to all of us. And it should be Ghana first. Ghana before any political party. Ghana first. Let's protect the environment we have, because we'll be held accountable one day. Right.
Thank you very much, Awula Sewa, for your time this afternoon here on the Pulse. And illegal mining affects everybody. That's why when matters of it come up, we give it all the attention that it deserves. But let's stay with the cocoa sector a little longer, because in January, some holders of cocoa bills who did not participate in the Government of Ghana Cocoa Bill Exchange Program asked Cocoa Board to pay them before the end of January 2024. Now, the delay by Cocoa Board to pay them their coupons and principals affected their livelihoods. Chief Executive Officer of the Cocoa Board, Joseph Boahinedu, said paying coupons at the time could have collapsed the sector.
The latest assessment that we did for the World Bank and also for the AADB, you need about not less than $4,000 for 1 hectare, rehabilitation to be done. $4,000. And ordinary farmers cannot do it. And what aggravates the problem is that ordinary a farmer can cultivate just one acre a year. Any farmer. If it's more than 1 acre, then they call it a pool. A pool, 40-ounce pan, square. That's a little over 1 acre. Which ordinary a farmer can do 1 acre. Plant the following year another 1 acre. Land preparation, investment, all that. Yeah. That's the ordinary. If there's no disease, nothing. Land preparation, the planting and everything, investment, 1 acre a year. Now, by the 3rd year, the farmer wants to consolidate the first 2 farms, so there'll be no cultivation. Maybe the 4th year, no cultivation. The 5th year, another 1 acre. Therefore, if a farmer tells you that he has 10-acre farm, he might have spent 15 years life investment. Now, when the disease strikes, the farmer cannot go the same pace of 1 acre a year. But once he cultivates, once he rehabilitates the first acre, leaving the 9 acres, the disease can come and reinfest the 1 acre that is cultivated. So the cultivation of the disease farms, or what we call the rehabilitation, had to be done en block. If it's 10 acres that are affected, you go in, you cut everything and replant within 1 year. So your 10-year investment ought to be deployed and applied within just 1 year. No farmer can do that.
So
No
now
farmer-
we've
no farmer
understood we painted quite a grim picture of
No
reality.
farmer can do that.
What do we see as a
And in the
solution?
past,
Right, so this is a pause here on Joy News, and that video was by kind courtesy of Graphic Online. We'll take a short break and return. I'll take you to Kumasi, where President Akufo-Addo is about to commission the Prempeh II International Airport. We shall be back. Come back to the show here on Joy News. Now, are you tired of the same old political rhetoric? Do you believe it is time for a change that truly represents the voices of our youth, women, and children? Introducing Nana Kwame Bediako, the presidential candidate who is not just promising change, but actively working to make it happen. Nana Bediako is not your typical politician. He's a visionary leader with a passion for making our country better through innovative industrial revolution. Together, we can change the political narrative and create a government that really represents the interests of all Ghanaians. Join Nana on this journey to build a better and inclusive future for all by contributing to the Save Ghana Fund campaign. Your support, no matter the amount, is not just a donation, it is an investment in the shared desire for a more prosperous, equitable, and better nation. You can visit www.nkb.com.gh or dial star 887 star 2024 hash to donate. Again, star 884 star 2024 hash to donate. And of course, that's from Nana Kwame Bediako. Also, the UPSA Law School, under the distinguished patronage of His Excellency John Agyekum Kufuor, former President of the Republic of Ghana, is pleased to invite you to the Open Business Day After. That's the African Trade and Innovative Conference. The conference is designed to provide a critical and independent platform for discussion of the new trade paths under the AFTA and trade in Africa, and undertake a situational review of the adaptation and implementation of AFTA since 2021, and in the process examine the challenges confronting the smooth takeoff of the regime. The details of the conference are as follows. The 16th and 17th of May 2024, time 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. each day. Venue is the Kofi Ohene Kunedu Auditorium, UPSA campus. Visit the social media platform of UPSA Law School for information on how to participate in the conference. Better so you can call 0245 347 946. That's 0245 347 946. This is the pause here on Joy. Now, President of the Worldwide Miracle Outreach, Lawrence Tetteh, has called out his fellow clergymen and women over their silence on the anti-LGBTQ bill, which was passed in February this year. Although the bill has since landed in the Supreme Court after two private individuals filed separate challenges to it, seeking to declare it illegal and prevent the president from signing it, Dr. Tetteh believes President Akufo-Addo should not have hesitated to assent to the bill when Parliament passed it. He is vowing to march to the seat of government if the president fails to sign the bill to the Supreme Court rule in favor of that.
I think it's about time we make politicians know we voted them into power. The cowardice that Christian leaders have been made to and religious leaders have been made to is a shame. And I'm embarrassed with some of our clergymen. As much as we are interested in our titles, in the big titles, and who we are and how long we served, I'm yet to hear certain people speak against these manners. And for me, that is a shame. And so it starts from my home too. It starts from the clergymen. It starts from the religious clerics. It starts from the home of the chief imam. It starts from the chairman of Christian Council. It starts from the apostolic leaders. It starts from apostolic fathers. It also starts from the Catholic, Methodist, Presbyterian, and Anglican. But also beyond that, it starts from the charismatic leaders. We've been too quiet. And as much as we are grumbling, everybody wants to impress certain people. And that is the nonsense for me that must stop.
And of course, this is your election headquarters, as always, brought to you by Petrosol, your clean fuel in full quantity, the Chartered Institute of Management and Accountants, and the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants, together as the Association of International Certified Professional Accountants, and of course, the German Ozo Medical Center, Alternative Therapy, Dental Wellness, and Beauty. Your election headquarters for an informed electorate. Now, what do we have for you this afternoon? Political party agents in some districts of the Ashanti region have expressed their satisfaction with the Electoral Commission for resorting to offline registration in the ongoing limited voter registration exercise. On the third day of the registration exercise, the Electoral Commission restored the offline registration process as backup for the internet and technical challenges that affected the process on the first and second days of the exercise. According to some party agents, the decision has helped to reduce the pressure on the commission as it recalls a huge number of registrants. You can listen to some of them.
Started from Tuesday, and due to the network challenges, we were able to do only 11 applicants were able to register. So which means the network was problem. And the next day, that was on Wednesday. Yeah, Wednesday. Wednesday too, it was online, and we were able to register only 60. By yesterday, through offline, we were able to had 202, which was something better than as you compare to the other day. So as you can see, the applicants are moving on. They are going. The EC are doing their job. So I think today too is online, but we are not having that challenges as we used to have previous days as we started. So today everything is going on well. Yeah. For now we are satisfied with the network. As you can see, for now we are satisfied with the network. But you know, God created man and man created machine. So we don't know what will happen going forward as of today.
I would gladly put it that there's not an inconsistency on the part of the EC, because looking at the number, even for today, being the fourth day, look at the number, it's very huge. The first day that was online, we registered only 11 from this polling state, electoral area, constituency. The following day, we managed to do, I think, 62 or so. So it was very, very, very low, the turnout. And the students were coming in, they were trooping in. But when they switched off to offline, we managed to register 202, meaning it's a huge sort of jump. So we are encouraging that if the online system will delay the process, why not switch to the offline so that everybody can register? Those who have turned 18 can register and everything will be peaceful with us and we go our way. So it is not the inconsistency, but rather they have seen the good thing in going offline, and at the end of the day, they will transfer everything that they've registered offline onto online, and it is a cool thing to do.
But the EC says it is still scared that even though it resorts to offline registration, some persons can do double registration, which will affect their chance of voting in the next election.
So with our constituency, what we've been doing is that when they come, when the students or the registrants come, we educate them that even if you've done it elsewhere and you think that you've misplaced your card and you want to do a new one, it is not allowed. And besides the EC officials, when you sit down with them, they also educate them that if you think that you've done anything, don't come and do again here. Go to that place and verify. Or you can come for transfer or something, or re-registration when everything is open. They will just give you a reprint. That is what is going on here. So for now, I don't think anybody had gone on or had done double registration here. And per our checks, it has not been so. If it were to be so, when they were transferring yesterday's own, it could have reflected for them to alert us that maybe so and so had done double registration, because when they transferred the data online, it has reflected that some have done double registration. But as it stands now, we've not experienced any of such. So everything has been peaceful when they went offline. So we encourage that even if the whole country, they could go offline to fast track the process, we are cool with it.
Okay, thank you so much.
Now, welcome back from your election headquarters. Let me now take you to the Ashanti regional capital, Kumasi, where the program to commission the Parliamentary International Airport is underway. The Transport Minister is updating the gathering.
Honorable Ministers of State, Deputy Ministers of State, Honorable Members of Parliament, the Chairman and members of Parliamentary Select Committee on Roads and Transport, members of the Diplomatic Corps, the management and staff of the Ministry of Transport, the board, management and staff of Ghana Airport Company Limited, the board, management and staff of Ghana Civil Aviation Authority, Metropolitan, Municipal and District Chief Executives, Nananum, the directors of Contractor UK, the project consultant, ADK Consortium, religious and traditional leaders, members of the security services, captains of the industry, members of the media fraternity, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Indeed, I am truly honored today to be here on this very important occasion for the commission of the new airport terminal, the radar system, and the control tower of Prempeh the First International Airport. Ladies and gentlemen, I think a lot had been said, and if I'm permitted by His Excellency, I should say thank you all of you and take my seat. But before I do so, to be bad on my part, if I do not thank His Excellency the President, not only for his presence, but I can tell you that the difficulty he went through during the COVID period, when we had some challenges concerning our finances, to make sure that the finance minister, my good self, should find money to complete this superb edifice. Your Excellency, thank you very much, and may God continue to bless you. To His Royal Majesty, Otumfuo Osei-Tutu Asantehene, I'm sure during the difficult period, I was sent to him several times by His Excellency the President to consult him. And any time I came to him and he saw my demeanor, he said, I know what you are going through, but I know you can do it. Otumfuo, may God continue to bless you as you celebrate 25 years of your installment as the king of the great kingdom Ashanti. Ladies and gentlemen, to my predecessors, Honorable Sisi Albrandapa and the late Kufiada, for the role they played during the attempt that this project started. But I think, Mr. President, I can also thank myself for seeing through that this project has come to a fruition. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, Kumasi Airport, as many of you may be aware, has been in existence for a little over 80 years. Until the 90s, it operated as a military airport serving the British Royal Army during the World War II and was later upgraded to support domestic operations. Since then, the airport has undergone several rehabilitations and upgrades with a view to position it as an alternative to the Kotoka International Airport to drive socio-economic growth and development. In pursuit of this development objective, a phased development approach was adopted to ensure passenger safety and comfort while ensuring that Kumasi had a fully functional international airport. The first phase consisted of the rehabilitation of the runway and installation of airfield light and aeronautic ground light to facilitate nighttime operations at the airport. Following this, His Excellency the President Nana Danko Akufo-Addo, in October 2018, performed the groundbreaking work for the second and third phase involving the construction of a new passenger terminal and a related facility to handle about 1 million passengers, as well as the extension of existing runway to enable the airport to accommodate wide-body aircraft such as Boeing 737-800, among other aviation-related facilities. These developments undoubtedly will cater for the ever-changing aviation industry and provide an unmatched experience for all airline passengers. The expanded airport with state-of-the-art facilities will transform the very concept of comfort and convenience. Indeed, the project being adored today has been as a result of effort of many who have contributed in diverse ways to make today a living reality. More importantly, I want to acknowledge the contribution of the former minister, like I've said, Honorable Siyadapa and Kofi Ada. When I took over as a minister responsible for aviation sector, I took personal interest in the works my predecessors have started and followed up with visits to appraise myself on the progress of the work. On one of those visits, I paid a courtesy call to His Royal Majesty Otumfuo Setutu, who also gave me his support and blessing to see to its completion. Therefore, on such a special occasion, like I've already said, I want all of you to join me to express my appreciation to all the players who have contributed in diverse ways for the success of this project. Mr. President, the commission of the terminal and its ancillary facilities such as the radar and the control tower does not mark the end of the work. We will commence full commercial operation at the terminal after completion of the operational readiness at airport transfer, what we call ORAT, by the end of June. This will give us the opportunity, ladies and gentlemen, to identify and correct any issues that may arise. I therefore want to use the opportunity to entreat the contractor and the consultant that when such issues are brought to their attention, they should promptly address them. Mr. President, Otumfuo, ladies and gentlemen, as we can see, construction is still ongoing in relation to the taxi link and runway extension. The runway extension, ladies and gentlemen, is supposed to be completed, all things being equal, between August and September. Mr. President, the construction is still ongoing, and the reason why we are commissioning this terminal is to enable us, after 2 months, to move in here so that it will give us the opportunity to break part of the old terminal and the old VIP, which is part of the extension of the runway and also the apron. Ghana's aviation industry, Mr. President, is showing resilience and consistent growth as a result of government's continuous support for the sector. As I speak, both domestic and international passenger numbers have shown strong growth potentials, with domestic passenger numbers exceeding pro-COVID-19 condition by 23.4% as the year ending 2023. This is indeed a historic performance, which underscores the strong government support that our air transport sector enjoys. The airport ultimately will be the gateway that will serve as a driver for economic development, strengthen international relationships, and inspire all who come into contact with us. Much as government work to create a vibrant aviation industry, it is also important that we take steps to urgently address creeping challenges, including encroachment on airport lands. It is an issue that threatens future expansion, if not immediately addressed. Therefore, I wish to take this opportunity to urge the Ghana Airport Company Limited and the Ghana Civil Aviation Authority to collaborate closely with the Lands Commission to properly secure and protect airport lands. It is also important that the operations of the airport is in accordance with ICAO standards and recommended practices. We must all do what we can to ensure that the investment that has gone into this project does not go waste for the people of this country. The ministry on its part, Mr. President, who continue to pursue strategies to make Ghana's aviation hub within the West African region and beyond. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, in conclusion, I would like to acknowledge the collective effort and commitment of all stakeholders and organizations involved in this project. I extend my heartfelt gratitude to the engineers and architects who designed this magnificent structure, the contractor UK, and the consultant ADK Consortium, who has brought this magnificent edifice to life, as well as the board and management of Ghana Airport Company Limited, the Ghana Civil Aviation Authority, and the funding agency. Your support has made this endeavor a reality. Mr. President, answer na metranseno. The person me power chow. Na me kakakra na mikrom dom na se me haya omutie mi. Na omutu tie bi. Se enne omampanyini na otumfo tia. Omo be kati, omo be commission Prempeh the First International Airport. This magnificent terminal, the radar, any control tower. The manager at Ekan say phase 2 no, na only the terminal ne pe. Omampanyini trans was it there be CAC terminal pe. Ni enya control tower, ni enya radar, we enya functional. Into your friend nyina no was phase 3 no. Yam famra nim e meka phase 2 no. Na yam misi terminal we nsiwa enya functional. Into ye di buy anim enne ade esi wo ye wie.
So those are live pictures from the Prempeh the First International Airport that is yet to be commissioned by President Akufo-Addo and the Asante. And this is happening live in Kumasi. And we'll take you back when the President and, of course, the Asante are about to deliver their address. But before we do that, the President of the Ghana Journalists Association, Albert Jomfo, and other leading members of the Ghana Independent Broadcasting Association, GEBA, have added their voice to the call for a load management timetable for the country as the ongoing erratic power supply continues to bite hard on broadcasting equipment and productivity. The call comes following a power outage that rocked the Accra International Press Center on Thursday afternoon, disrupting a planned news conference for over 2 hours. My colleague Carlos Kaloni was there and has come through with this report.
Contrary to President Akufo-Addo's assurance that the era of doomsday power outages is over, many parts of Ghana continue to grapple with erratic power supply. The latest victim of this unpredictable power situation was the Ghana International Press Center in Accra. On Thursday, May 9, 2024, the Ghana Journalists Association GJ's press conference, scheduled for 1:30 p.m., was delayed by 2 hours due to a sudden power outage at the press center. The event meant to address critical issues affecting the media fraternity and to provide an update on Farouk Mahama and Hawa Kumson's media blackout, initiated by GJ after supposed assault on some journalists, left journalists and media personnel frustrated and stranded for hours. Speaking at the press conference, GJ President Albert Jomfo urged the government to double its efforts in finding a lasting solution to the power crisis as it threatens the job security of journalists.
Another trend that gives cause for concern is the ongoing energy crisis, which is having a toll on the finances and operations of the media, particularly the broadcast media. The government should double its effort to restore stability in power supply to avert the closure of broadcast stations and consequent loss of jobs. We know it is affecting us in so many ways, affecting productivity, even having a toll on the economic condition of journalists. In recent time, when we look at the recent report from the Reporters Without Borders, the indice or the indicator which was recently included about 3-4 years ago, being the economic indicator, has really affected Ghana negatively, and that has pushed Ghana to the bottom of the radar. We keep sinking on the ranking due to this economic indicator.
On his part, President of the Ghana Independent Broadcasting Association, GIBA, Cecil Sonkwamil, said the unplanned power cuts are damaging broadcasting equipment and causing loss of revenue, hence the need for a power shedding timetable.
I know we were late, and we're late because of some key issue which is affecting broadcasters too. Okay, besides the message we have, and that is the unplanned power cuts. That is how I want to call it. We've had a number of media organizations, we have received complaints. We've had disruption of broadcasting services, inability to meet deadlines, damage to equipment, and loss of revenue to some of the stations. And we know that they have quite difficult times. So we want to also use this platform to appeal that at least if there are challenges, give us a plan so we can plan, and then we can make revenue. We know how much fuel we need to buy, and we can even reschedule programs and protect our equipment.
Even though journalists would not speak on record, they lamented the dire impact the erratic power supply is having on their productivity and also added their voices to the calls, saying the government should stop playing politics with the power situation as it threatens their job security. From Accra International Press Center, Carlos Caloni for Joy News.
Before we take you back to the commission of the Prempeh Affairs International Airport in Kumasi, where the Asantehene will be speaking, let's talk about social entrepreneurship and philanthropy conference by development management students of the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, which comes off on the 11th, that's tomorrow, of May, this Saturday. Now, joining me via Zoom to shed more light on this event is Dr. Victoria Mensah Nyamadi, the Social Entrepreneurship and Philanthropy Conference coordinator, and of course, Ibrahim Saidi Hussein, a student of this. So first, let me find out, Doctor, what is the main objective of this upcoming conference? So if you can unmute for me so we can hear you.
Okay, please, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now. I just want to understand the objective of this conference.
All right, thank you very much. Now, the development management students of KNUST are given opportunity in this course to practicalize the theories that they learn in a year. So over the year, they are supposed to go out in their communities, find a problem, gather resources to solve the problem, and then organize a conference and then showcase what they've done. So the main objective of tomorrow's conference is for the students to come and tell their story of what they have done in their various communities over the past year.
And since 2017, how has this evolved, if you can walk us through?
Okay, so the Social Entrepreneurship and Philanthropy course started at IDL KNUST in 2017, where we had the first conference. And there we had about 17 groups, who had done various projects across Ghana, from Tamale to Takoradi to Accra. And it's been amazing how these students have impacted various aspects of our society, relating it especially to the SDGs and with what they have learned in the classroom. And every year we've had at least 13 different projects that have happened in Ghana. And this year too, we are having 13 of them being showcased.
All right. So in terms of equipping students to help them solve societal issues, how will you say this has helped them in molding them to appreciate what is at stake and prepare them to solve societal issues that we confront every day?
Okay, so, many times in the lecture hall, we try to bring case studies to the students for them to provide solutions to it. Here is the case where we have actually rather taken the students to where the problems actually are, and they are given real-time opportunities to try their hands. So if it's about raising funds, they are given opportunities to do it. If it's about identifying that this is a problem and this is why it is a problem. They are actually given the opportunity to do it, and I serve as a guide to them, you know, to guide them that yes, maybe you can go this far, you cannot go this far. Yes, so they are given real-time opportunities to try their hands at the knowledge they've gained.
I'll come back to ask you about some of the things that we are likely to see and experience tomorrow. But let me bring in Ibrahim Husseina, who is a student, and then to also find out how the SEP program has helped him. Husseina, good afternoon. Welcome to the Pulse. And if you can unmute for me.
Good afternoon, sir. Thank you very much for having me. Right. Anyway.
Right. So,
hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear. So tell me, how has the SEP program helped you as a student and as a person?
Okay, thank you once again. The SEP program has really helped me.
I think the connection to Husseina is a bit shaky. Yes, so I will try and re-establish contact with her. But let me go to Dr. Victoria. So this conference, where exactly are you targeting? Is it open to everybody?
Whole public are invited to come. Everyone is invited to come because I want to let people know that, you know, it is not just about talk, that when we say that it is possible to contribute our own quota in our own small way, it can be done. And these students have done it. And so we want people to come and see that they are real-time projects.
And are you able to tell us some of the examples of successful community solutions or philanthropic initiatives that have emerged as a result of this program?
Okay, so for this year, I'll tell you just about one or two. We have the Tamale group, who identified a school, a public school in Tamale, where the students had a challenge with water. And this group of about 5 students have provided them with a borehole, which has, you know, gone a long way to help, especially the girls, you know, sanitation issues, which has gone a long way to help them. We have another group that has also rehabilitated and provided library and computer lab for another school in Accra. So these are just 2 of the 13 happening this year.
But this is very important. This is very important. So how do we scale this up?
Yes.
Yes.
I think your platform is very important to us because sometimes, you know, when you look at the problems in Ghana and you look at yourself as an individual, you may give up. You may give up hope. But when you see that, okay, you can actually start from where you are with a little that you have, and also with the advantage of probably working in groups, that you can actually do something, then it gives you hope. And so since 2017, we have continued to do it because we are hopeful that we would get such platforms and encourage people, you know, to also follow what we are doing. Honestly, we don't think that this course should just be limited to development management alone. It should be extended to computing. It should even be extended to our junior high and the kindergarten, because I mean, there are so many problems out there. Let's give the students an opportunity to try their hands at providing solutions to the problem. They will learn things that the books will not teach them.
Can you state the venue and the time for tomorrow's event?
Okay, so tomorrow the Social Entrepreneurship and Philanthropy Conference comes off at the Amonuniza Conference Center at KNUST, near the KNUST poolside. It's happening exactly at 9 a.m. and we are inviting each and every one of you to come and support our students.
Thank you very much, Dr. Victoria, for your time this evening here on the Pulse. I can take you back to the Ashanti Regional Capital, Kumasi, because ongoing is the official commission of the Parliamentary International Airport. The Jubilee House spoke on behalf of the Ashanti.
anytime that I met with him, he will say, oh, because here, airport, no, but I'm mayor. Because he will know that it will be the first question. If that was coming from me, he was getting more blows from my boss. And anytime he would find an excuse not to come to Kumasi, it meant that he didn't have all the answers to answer for the fact that there was some delay. But the delays did come unavoidable as they were because of COVID and other attenuating issues. But it's the tenacity of the president that has sustained him and that has made sure that despite all the odds, he would get this airport delivered. And here we are today, having it being delivered. Mr. President, we thank you very much. We hope that the other appendages that will go to make it fully operational will come in due time so that it will not be, as we used to say in our time, pass no way. We have passed, but we can't get access to the screw, so that we can have full use of it. And when the Minister of Transport was talking, he said that, oh, if you do not have full passengers, then the plane will not land in Kumasi. I would like to assure you, Mr. Minister, that the planes will rather not land in Accra because they come to Kumasi fully laden. And when they go to Accra, there will be no passengers for them. Our people are travelers, and we are going to patronize the airport to a point that you may even want to expand the terminal and do extra work on the runway. So we have taken the challenge, and we assure you that you will get the full complement of passengers. And if you are bringing bigger aircraft, do bring them. Even the Muslims who go from here, from Ghana to Mecca, a greater portion of them come from within the Ashanti region. We would, Otumfuo would like that this airport has been opened, or is being opened, with wonderful facilities. It takes the human effort to maintain and keep it clean and tidy. Let us not treat it as, with all respect, a garbage pit, where you drop something without recourse to personal hygiene. Let the cleanliness that we are seeing today be with the facility from today, tomorrow, until time shall be no more. Because that way, then we would be showing greater gratitude for the fact that that which we are given, we respect it, and then we also adore and honor it. It's going to make the operation of the airport going to make the cost of traveling very, very cheap for us, because sometimes you go to Accra or you land in Accra and the transport, the onward journey to Kumasi, is there because of bad weather, there are no flights. And you have to go and find yourself a hotel and other such things. Mr. Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, this is your second time of coming to Ghana. I hope that when the third time, oh, I see. When you come the fourth time, you will land in Kumasi. Straight from Trinidad and Tobago to Kumasi. And we'll regale you with the best of hospitality when you come.
And we'll take you back again to Kumasi for the president speak when he is ready. But for now, that's our show for today here on Joy News. For more stories, log on to our website, myjoyonline.com, stories on myjoyonline.com. Dr. Lawrence Tetteh to march to the Jubilee House to demand the signing into assent of the anti-LGBTQ bill, plus other stories making rounds on myjoyonline.com. Let's Talk Showbiz is up next. My name is Elton Bobby. You have a wonderful weekend. Do take care. We'll see you on Monday with another exciting edition of The Pulse.